I felt crazy.
Daisy, Daisy.
Give me your answer, do.
I'm half crazy.
All for the love of you.
What terrifies me? The fact that a serial killer could go into a haunted house and pretend to be a part of the act. They could literally get away with murdering hundreds of people because the screams and the dead bodies would look a part of the show.
You live another psychopath sitting next to you. You live another murderer sitting next to you. You think that I get it sitting next to you. But after all I've said, please don't forget. All my friends are heathens, fake and slow.
Yeah, don't worry, don't worry. Don't worry, there's a very lucky photo. Don't worry. Don't worry. Yeah, take a photo. It's very rare to see a photo like this. Sure. Don't be hasty. I'm telling you the truth. I'm your guide. You're a man. Yeah. Let's go check my dog.
See if he escapes. It's because I'm muscly. Oh. Even the candle went out. What the fuck?
The picture behind me might look like a normal photo, but it's actually one of the most sinister, real-life haunted photos in history. Taken by a professional photographer in 1972 as guests arrived for a wedding, everything in this picture looks happy and normal. But if you take a closer look at the man standing in black, you'll see something odd. You can actually see somebody in white crouching behind the man. All four of the people in the picture said that there was no one behind them when it was taken. The photographer said the same thing, and that it would be impossible for someone to crouch behind them without him seeing them. This is a better picture where you can actually see the guy's legs, and then in the top you can see his eyes. The picture was even examined by police photographers, and they confirmed that it was genuine.
The scariest haunted house in the world is called McCamey Manor, and now it has multiple locations, but it began in San Diego, California, in Russ McCamey's own home. If you can get all the way through the house, you'll get $20,000, but nobody has ever finished it. But before you can even think of going, you have to be 21 years old, complete a sports physical, pass a drug test, provide proof of medical insurance, be screened via phone, and sign a 40-page waiver. You also have to watch a 2-hour video called And Then There Were None, which features footage of visitors quitting before the end of the experience. The only way visitors can leave is by uttering the phrase, "You really don't want to do this." And all that sounds like it would scare people away, but there's currently a waiting list of over 24,000 people.
Blood-curdling facts that you wish you never knew. Part 8. Pigs will eat literally anything. There are stories of pigs entering farmhouses and eating newborn babies. Speaking of babies, doctors believed that they didn't feel pain until 1987, so they would operate on newborns without anesthesia. Whistling was a way in which people would summon demons in ancient times. In 1968, every single TV in America shut down for 25 seconds, and there was a sound broadcasted on all of them that many believe was the devil's voice. People born deaf with schizophrenia often see disembodied hands signing them as opposed to hearing voices. A mysterious skeleton only 6 inches long was discovered outside a ghost town in Chile. It was declared to be human and lived for as long as 8 years.
This is why you should always look under the toilet seat before you sit down. In 2003, over a 5-day period in London, 3 women showed up to hospitals with the same mysterious symptoms. They say they woke up with these horrible bite marks on the backs of their legs, and then while they're at the hospital, they become paralyzed and die. Despite their similar symptoms, the women had nothing in common except that they had recently been to the same pub. Authorities immediately shut it down and do a thorough search inside of the pub, but can't find anything deadly, until one of the detectives goes to use the pub's bathroom. As he's about to sit down, he thinks he sees something moving in the toilet, so he gives it a little kick. Hiding in the toilet was one of the world's largest and most poisonous spiders, the Brazilian wandering spider, and now they needed to catch it.
This is why you should never stay awake past 3 a.m. A woman in her early 20s was away from home on a business trip. The night before she was supposed to board her plane, she had trouble sleeping and had this intense fear that someone was staring at her in her room. She was up until 3, tossing and turning until she started to hear whispers. It was a deep voice repeating the words, "I'm coming to get you, I'm coming to get you." But she ignored it and eventually fell asleep. After her plane landed, she was exhausted but drove home anyway. About 30 minutes into her drive, she started hearing the same whispers from the previous night, but she thought it was because she was sleep deprived, so she kept driving. She was almost home when she began to feel sick. Her eyes were watering, her nose was running, and she let out a large sneeze. "Bless you," said the same deep, eerie voice. She quickly pulled into her driveway, hugged her husband, and sat down to tell him what was going on. When this happened.
I can still hear that voice.
This is why you should never watch my videos before going to bed. In 1986, a young girl opens her closet to find a man wearing a dress and holding an axe. He grabs her and ties her up, and then walks around the house and does the same thing to the rest of her family. While the guy is ransacking their house, one of the kids breaks free, runs next door, and tells his neighbor. The neighbor calls the cops show up, the family's saved, but the guy is nowhere to be found. The family leaves the house and stays with relatives in hopes that they'll catch this guy before they have to go back. But after a few weeks, they haven't caught him, there aren't any leads, and they say, you know what, we'll go back to our house anyways. As the family's pulling back into their driveway, the father looks up at one of the windows and sees for a split second the head of the man with the dress in their bedroom. They call the police, who go in and find pennies glued to the ceiling and weird writing all over the house, but they can't find this crazy guy. Until one of the officers found a secret crawl space in the basement, where psychotic killer Danny LaPlante had been living for 2 months.
This is the girls' bathroom.
They said there was a wild animal in the school and that I should hide here to be safe. I need to pee, but I don't want them to be mad.
They won't be mad.
It's safe, though?
It's safe.
Bye.